Okay, Scott, great. Thanks for taking time out to chat about the Whiskey Fest. So why don't you to get started, talk about, why you decided to have this event for the first time in Atlantic City.
Well, this has been a project that I've been working on for a little over a year, and it's really based on what I'm seeing in our own industry, as Landry's Inc. owns and operates over 400 restaurants and 7 hotels and casinos. We're just seeing a huge explosion on the brown goods, brown spirit side of the equation. Really, really dramatic increases in all of those categories. And I figured it's time to kind of accentuate that and kind of bring the product to the consumers.
And are these products that you're featuring at the Golden Nugget in Atlantic City anyway? Are you seeing sort of an interest or demand at the bars for people to have, some of the brown spirits, as you call them?
Yeah, I mean, Manhattan's whiskeys as a whole are just making a huge, huge comeback. And it's not just American craft whiskeys, which this event is going to hone in on. Our Scotch whiskeys, our Irish whiskeys, Canadian whiskeys, even Japanese whiskeys are starting to make a very, very nice move and taking a huge market share. So we're definitely seeing a big increase in brown spirit.
And now, when you talk about American craft whiskeys, does that mean that is it more sort of smaller brands that will be represented, or how do you define that for people to know?
We're going to have a nice mixture of small, very independent, tiny operations in the craft whiskey side, and then we're going to blend it in with some of the superstar, the big powerhouses that are out there that everybody recognizes, the Woodfords, the Maker's Mark, the Jack Daniels, the Jim Beams of the world, but they're complemented so well by some local folks in the Philadelphia, Delaware, New York State area. Those terrific products coming out of the Hudson whiskey up there in New York State. We've got some items from Filibuster, from Rough Riders, from High West. So we've got a terrific lineup of the smaller producers that are making just small batches at a time, along with some of the big, well-known superstars.
Is there anyone from New Jersey, anything produced right in New Jersey, or is the closest, the Hudson place you mentioned?
I believe New York and Philly, because we've got the Philadelphia distilleries, we've got the Hudson, so we've got several from the region.
Okay, great. And so why don't we run through some of the events, and we can talk about some of the things that are happening. So the whiskey dinner gets things kicked off, and so there's going to be special sort of food pairings with the whiskeys.
Yeah, we've got a terrific dinner with Cheetah Fletcher and Peter O'Connor. We'll be out there representing the George Dickel and Bullet bourbon brand. We're going to use a big piece of their portfolios combined and put together a great dinner. This is actually a sit-down dinner, course by course, very carefully prepared and worked on by executive chef Bobby out there at the Golden Nugget, along with myself, with Peter's influence as well. And
can you tell us
really
some of
tried to do it. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You said you really tried to do something.
Yeah, we really honed in on kind of turn of the century, late 1800s, early 1900s cuisine, and so we're looking for some food items that are more typical from back in those days. So kind of a turn of the century meal, not all the fancy modern items that you see out there in wine dinners and beer dinners across the nation. Really wanted to kind of go back in time and capture some items that were more typical in the late 1800s, when these distilleries and properties were really just hitting their stride.
And so can you give me an example of what might be on the menu, some of the dishes you're going to be offering? Or
You know what? I'm at home. Let me. We might need to get back to that one. I do have it, but I've got to pull it up on my computer.
Okay, that's fine. Why don't should we keep going and then we can go back to it, or?
Okay.
Okay, and then I guess the other major component then is the grand tasting experience, which will be on both days, right, of the event. So.
Yeah, we have individual ticket prices, $49 for Friday, which is from 7 p.m. until 11 p.m. at the Golden Nugget, the Grand Ballroom. Then it happens again the following day from 3 until 8, also at the Grand Ballroom for $49. On the Friday sessions, we have 4 terrific hosted, what I call a hosted tasting. So somebody like a Brian Ellison from Death's Door, a whiskey producer that makes a great craft gin, vodka, and white whiskey, he'll be the keynote speaker during this seminar and give the folks a chance to understand what it is that he's doing, how he got started, the type of equipment that he uses, the type of marketing that he goes after, but most specifically what makes his products unique and gives the folks that come out to his seminar a chance to taste his great lineup. And so, like I say, we've got 4 seminars scheduled for Friday and another 5 for Saturday. All 9 in total have a different guest speaker, so nothing is done twice. Everything is one time through.
And if you are attending, can you attend more than one, or is it limited to how many you can go to?
Yeah, we have a great question. We've got 40 seats for each sitting, so it'll be a first come, first serve. It is inside the Grand Ballroom where the entire event is at, and so we have a full blown corner that we throw up the air walls inside of our ballroom. And so it is segregated, but it is in the same room. So it'll be a first come, first Saturday. The first time, the first will have the first guest. The first is done. The first thing is the first time through. The first represent.
And if you're
representing,
can you
represent
more than one,
represent
limited
represent
how many
represent
go to?
represent. We have represent great represent. Got 4 represents with each with. So it'll be with come first with it with inside with ballroom with the with event design with, and so we with somebody full blown somebody a corner somebody we throw up somebody walls somebody inside of somebody segregate somebody it is in somebody room, so it'll be somebody come first Saturday. Nine will have a different guest is done. Thing is went through.
And if you're listening, can you more than one, or is it limited, or is it how many go to?
We have great got 4 each. So it'll be a grim first terrific. It ate the inside ballroom that are made backer event is that along with, and so we some super full blown corner. We throw up walls on New York inside of the bus segregate rough, but it is in high room, so it'll come first meals Saturday. Rise of the wine, but they'll have a different guest buys. So is done. Some of the filtering is yellow and through Lip State, where product.
And if you're
some of the
thing can
are
more than one,
so the big
limited
houses
how many
that
go to?
Nice. We have for great the got 4 sparks. Some of the each blend are, so it'll be a Suki some first it inside Oski's ballroom Oski's vent is out and so we Oski's full block corner we throw up walls inside of segregate but it is in room, so it'll come first Saturday. Nine will have a guest is done. Thing is went through.
And if you're thinking more than one, limited how many go to?
We have great we've got 4 each so it'll be come first it inside ballroom the event is that, and so we a full blown corner, we throw up, keep walls, keep inside of, keep keep segregate, keep it is and keep room sort of keep comfort, keep her day, keep fine. I'll have it. Guess ski is done. Ski thing is ski and through ski.
And if you're thinking more than one, limit
the big
how many
we have nice grapefruit got 40 lengths marks each. Some of the so it'll be our big come first of the big it goes we're inside of the ballroom, but the and it's some by event is that and so we in the area Delaware full blown state the corner we throw a product walls so inside of New York segregate that it is in a item room, sort of a bus we come first, rough them Saturday, high 9, and we'll have a guest rate. Great line is done terrific. Small thing is the sprint through. That are made all that.
And if you're
thinking along with
more than one, limit or is how many or is go to
we have great got 4 each so it'll be a come first it we're inside Zuri ballroom Zuri event is that Zuri and so we Zuri full block Zuri corner Zuri we throw up Zuri walls Zuri inside of somebody segregate it is in somebody room sort of somebody come first somebody day somebody fine somebody will have it somebody guest with things is done with thing is with thing and through with thing
and if you're with thing more than one with thing limit with how many
representative we have representative great representative got 4 representative each representative so it'll be representative come first representative it represents inside represent ballroom the first event is that first and so we first full block first corner first we throw up the first walls the first be inside of same we segregate the same way it is in the same way room sort of the same way come first same way day same way fine the same way have it the same way guess the same way is done thing is and through
and if you're thinking more than one limit how many go to
we have great BC got 4 seats BC each so it'll be a BC come first BC it BC inside BC ballroom event is that and so we full block corner we throw up walls inside of segregate but it is in room sort of come first Saturday fine will have it guest is done anything is and through
and if you're thinking more than one limit how many go to
we have great got 4 each so it'll be come first it is inside ballroom after event is after and so we full block corner we throw up walls inside of host segregate host but it is in host room sort of host come first host Saturday host fine host will have it the host guest host is done thing is and through
and if you're thinking more than one limit how many go to
we have great got 4 each so it'll be first it inside ballroom event is that and so we full block corner we throw up walls inside of segregate it is in room so it'll come first Saturday fine we'll have it the host guest host is done host thing is host and through host
and if you're
thinking
more than one
host
limit how many go to
we have great got 4 each so it'll be come first it is inside ballroom event is that and so we full block corner we throw up walls inside of segregate it is in room sort of come first Saturday fine we'll have it guest schedules is done thing is and through
and if you're thinking more than one limit how many go to.
We have great. We've got 4 each, so it'll be come first. It inside BC ballroom, BC event is that BC, and so we BC full blown BC corner BC. We throw up BC walls BC inside of ball segregate, but it is in the room, so it'll come first Saturday. 9 we'll have a guest same is done, same thing is same went through, same.
And if you're
same
thing more than one,
same
limit
same
with how many the first go to is the first.
We have first great first we got 4 first each so it'll be the first come first it the first inside the first ballroom represent and so we represent full blown represent corner represent we throw up represent walls represent inside of our with segregating with but it is in with room so it'll with come first with Saturday with 9 with we'll have a thing with guesting with somebody